Sometimes a curse is silently trapped inside an object. It waits untouched for years and patiently watches for the wrong person to find it. The expression on the face of that doll found in the dark basement of an abandoned house in Australia looked as if it was trying to whisper a secret it hadn't been able to tell for centuries. Its eyes weren't staring into emptiness. They were looking straight into a person's soul. And that day, everyone who picked it up felt the same thing. This puppet wasn't a toy. Something or someone inside it wanted to get out. Even its name came from the paranormal event it caused. When Kerry Walton and his brother first discovered the Letta doll and went down into the basement of an abandoned Victorian-era house in the Wagga Wagga region of Australia, they weren't expecting to come across an ordinary puppet. But what they encountered was something for which even the world puppet felt too mild and almost human-like figure. And they weren't wrong to think so. Leda's face is different from the porcelain dolls we know. Its facial features resemble those of an adult man. Deep eye sockets, a slightly downward gaze with a sad and tired expression, a realistic living face style of carving seen in traditional European puppetry, a slightly open mouth design. This combination gives the doll's face the impression of a frozen emotion. Leda's expression resembles a final look before death, which is why anyone who looks at it feels uneasy. One of the most disturbing details Walton noticed when he first found the doll was the hair because it was real. Even aside from paranormal claims, using human hair in all puppets was not common. This created the impression that a human remnant had been attached to a toy, which made the shock even stronger. Its weight was unusual as well. Leda's is really the size of a child and unexpectedly heavy. Kerry Walton said that when he first picked it up, it was almost as heavy as a human child. This completely breaks the idea of it being just a normal doll. However, at this point, experts do have some possible explanations. In 19th century, Balkan puppet craftsmanship, protective or ritual puppets were often made with aggressive or dramatic facial expressions. Some artisans even carved puppets based on a real person's face. The suffering man expression on Leda's face points to this. Its intentionally unsettling designs match a tradition where puppets were carved with frightening faces to protect homes from evil spirits and jealous energies. Experts didn't make these claims randomly. Research driven by the events that occurred pushed them in this direction. The process began with the naming. Shortly after bringing the doll home, Kerry Walton claimed he experienced the following incident. One night, while home alone, he heard a sound coming from the room where the doll was kept, and the sound resembled a whisper saying, "Let me out." Walton described this as a human voice and said the words were clearly audible. After this event, the doll was nicknamed the Letta Me Out doll. Let me out, Letta. The shorter version, Letta, eventually became the doll's official name. Walton and several family members claimed that over the years they heard whisper-like, groaning, speech-like sounds coming from the room where the doll was kept. Walton even said that during a period when he took the doll away from home for an event, the sound stopped completely. When the doll returned home, the sound started again. As with any paranormal event, there were also people who tried to make logical explanations, and their thoughts were as follows. air currents in old houses can create vibrations that people interpret as human-like whispers. Fear and expectation can also create auditory illusions, making one think they heard a sound. Some experts say that the materials inside Letta, especially the old carved wooden head, could expand the temperature changes and produce creaking noises, which could be mistaken for whispers. But here is the critical detail. This event was not only described by Walton, but also by several others who lived with him. So it does not appear to be a single person hallucination, but more like a collective memory. This strengthened the nickname's impact as well. Whether real or a misinterpretation, the family believed they heard the voice. When the doll was named Let Them Out, it gained an identity in horror culture. The name directly referenced the idea of a trapped spirit, a very powerful metaphor for a toy. There is someone inside and they want to get out. Of course, these experiences were not the only things that happened. After Letta was brought home, the events the Walton family experienced became topics for both media and paranormal researchers over the years. Most of these events may not seem anomalous on their own, but the fact that they all happened around the same time seriously frightened the family. Kerry Walton said that when he left Letta in a room and returned hours later, he found the doll in a different corner, its face turned in another direction, or sometimes slid off the chair onto the floor. This happens so frequently that Walton questioned everyone in the house, but no one admitted touching the doll. This was the first serious alarm for the family. Especially at night, they heard quick, light footsteps like those of a child moving across the wooden floor, as if someone was walking around the house. Walton said he tried to follow the sound several times, but when he reached the place they seemed to come from, the noises suddenly stopped. But one of the strongest claims that increased Letta's fame was the reactions of animals. Dogs would not go near Letta and barked fearfully. Cats raised their fur. Some animals fled the room entirely. Normally, animal reactions are considered more convincing in paranormal claims because animals perceive threats differently from humans. In the following weeks, several people reported having repeated nightmares on the same night and said they saw a ghost looking into the room while they slept. The common theme of the nightmares was the feeling that someone was walking around the room. Frames, ornaments, and cabinet doors began falling on their own in certain parts of the house. These incidents mostly happened in the room where Letta was kept. This added fuel to the fear. According to the family, these weren't the only events that occurred after Letta's arrived. The TV turned on and off by itself. The radio malfunctioned. Even the lights began to flicker. The fact that these malfunctions disappear over time strengthens Walton's theory of the doll effect. The fact that everything began within the same period, especially after the doll arrived, was striking. The most important point Walton stated was this: there was nothing wrong with the house. Everything started after Letta came. In other words, according to the family, these events were not coincidences, there was an energy triggered by the doll entering the house. Naturally, all these attracted the interest of mediums and paranormal researchers. They all pointed to the same thing, although their explanations differed. Most mediums said they felt an energy the moment they encountered Letta, even without speaking. The information they provided was almost always the same. The spirit is not a child but a young man, estimated to be between 15 and 25 years old. The doll was created as something like a body to be protected. The spirit carries deep fear, loss, and a sense of being claimed. That is why, according to mediums, Letta's pained expression reflects the spirit's emotional state. One medium who examined Letta said one of the most talked about statements: "The spirit inside the doll has been trying to say something for years, but there are no words, only a trapped scream." This explanation combined with Letta's "Let Me Out" nickname turned it into a powerful legend in paranormal circles, and it brought other interpretations as well. Some mediums, based on the craftsmanship and energy of the doll, said it originated from regions such as the Balkans, Romania, Ukraine, or southeastern Europe, where the ritual puppets were made. In these regions, people in the past created protective dolls to protect the soul of a loved one, hide someone from evil spirits, create a shield against jinn or demonic entities. However, if things went wrong, these dolls could turn into restless beings. It is claimed that the spirit inside Letta's was bound incorrectly during such a ritual. According to most of them, this is the reason for the sense of unease. In Eastern European rituals, the object to which the soul is bound would be buried in sacred soil or kept in a specific place. But Letta was brought to Australia, meaning the soul was separated from the land it was originally tied to. This separation creates unrest. Another widely supported belief is that Letta is not a threat to Walton and does not intend to harm the family. It carries a kind of attachment feeling. In other words, it tries to form a bond with this owner. This emotion causes Letta to sometimes act aggressively and sometimes protectively. Although Letta shows signs of a human spirit, there were also mediums who claimed a darker interpretation, a transcitational form, half personality, half energy, a jinn infant-like consciousness, and a being that feeds on fear. However, these claims did not receive much support. Regardless of these theories, most people believe the doll needs to be locked away. The most common idea is that, like many cursed dolls, it should be kept in a museum environment. But the family explained why they refused this with logical reasons. Over time, emotional and metaphysical elements were added to these explanations. First, the family believes Letta is attached to the house. After years of strange events, the Walton family became completely convinced of this idea. Letta has become used to this house and has bonded with the family's energy. Some mediums said the same thing. If the spirit is moved elsewhere, it may become aggressive again and behave more restlessly in new environments. For this reason, the family believes leaving the doll anywhere else could be dangerous. Second, to the family, Letta is not a toy, but an entrusted relic. When Kerr Walton found the doll, he said he felt as if it didn't belong to him, as if he had accidentally uncovered something that was not meant to be found. After years of experiences and the medium's statements, the family began to see Letta not as a possession or toy, but as an entrusted relic they are responsible for protecting. For them, giving it to a museum would feel like betrayal. Third, they fear the energy it will be exposed to in museums. Museums, especially with heavy visitor traffic, camera flashes, noise, and the mixed energies of many people, could affect the energetic structure of a sensitive object. From a paranormal standpoint, the energies of so many different people could destabilize Letta's spirit, agitate it, and trigger aggressive behavior. The family takes this possibility very seriously. Fourth, the family's biggest fear: if we leave Letta, it will come back. This sentence comes directly from Kerry Walton. I've never considered abandoning it. If it falls into the wrong hands or if someone disturbs it, I feel like it will come back to us. This coming back has two meanings: someone physically returning the doll, or a spiritual return that disturbs the family. The family fears the second one. Fifth, the family partially believes the doll protects them. Despite all the frightening events, the Walton family observed something interesting over the years. While Letta was in the house, no unexpected accidents happened. No financial losses occurred, and there was a strange but protective energy in the home. Some mediums said Letta is not aggressive but a warning and protective spirit. This created the belief within the family. We are protecting it and it's protecting us. This mutual bond is one of the strongest psychological reasons they refuse to take the doll outside. Sixth, Letta is now accepted as part of the family. It is clear from Kerry Walton's interviews over the years, Letta has become a historical artifact, a responsibility, even a being for the family. Giving it to museum would feel like abandoning a family member. Kerry Walton directly said, "No one will take care of it the way we do." These beliefs also prevented Letta from becoming a major figure in popular culture. It appeared in short documentaries and paranormal lists as a horror figure, of course, but unlike Annabelle, no movie or documentary was made directly about it. On top of that, since Kerry Walton said he sees the doll as a sacred relic, he's not interested in selling the story commercially. Although he takes the doll on tour to horror fairs or paranormal events, he tries to keep the matter away from profit. The story of the Letta doll continues to live within a reality far more disturbing than fabricated horror films. Because while the Walton family still owns it, no script, no director has been able to capture this darkness. Large sums of money were rejected. The rights were never sold, and Letta remains chained not in a glass case watched by millions, but in the silence of a single home. This makes it more dangerous than all other cursed objects, because every whisper we hear about it is not an effect, not a studio creation, not a writer's invention. It is raw fear nourished by real people who are still living. It is not one of those toys displayed under the lights. It is a being said to breathe when left in the dark, believed to move, and even its own owner avoids making eye contact with it. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share your thoughts with us. See you in the next video. Goodbye.